Is the Pope really in the Bible? Imagine. Jesus has returned to the Father. Peter has died. The other apostles have also passed away. Now imagine you're one of the first Christians. Who leads the church? Did Jesus expect every generation to start over? Or did he leave something that would continue until he returned? This brings us to one of Christianity's most debated questions. Is the Pope really in the Bible? Perhaps that's not even the best question. Maybe the better question is this: did Jesus intend Peter's mission to continue after Peter's death? Let's begin. Not in Rome, but beside the Sea of Galilee. Jesus met Simon while he was a fisherman. He called him to follow him. Then he gave him a new name, Peter, the rock. In the Bible, a new name always points to a new mission. But what mission? One day, Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do you say that I am?" Peter answered, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Then Jesus made one of the most remarkable promises in Scripture. "You are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church." He continued, "I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven." Why keys? Why not a crown? Why not a sword? To understand that, we have to go back hundreds of years before Jesus. In the book of Isaiah, we meet a royal steward who served under the king. The steward held the keys of the kingdom. He governed with the king's authority while remaining under the king himself. If one steward died, another was appointed to take his place. The office continued even though the person changed. When Jesus gives Peter the keys, his Jewish listeners would have recognized this image. Jesus, the king, was establishing an office of stewardship within his kingdom. But the story doesn't end there. On the night before his passion, Jesus spoke directly to Peter. "Simon, Simon, Satan has demanded to sift all of you like wheat." Notice something remarkable. Jesus says Satan desired to test all the apostles, but then he turns specifically to Peter. "I have prayed for you that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers." Peter himself would stumble. He would deny Jesus 3 times. Yet Christ's prayer was not that Peter would never fail. It was that Peter's faith would not fail completely, so that he could strengthen the others. Then, after the resurrection, Jesus met Peter beside another shoreline. 3 times he asked, "Do you love me?" And 3 times he replied, "Feed my lambs, tend my sheep, feed my sheep." Jesus did not simply forgive Peter, he entrusted him with the care of his flock. The shepherd was being commissioned. Now consider everything together: a new name, the rock, the keys, the mission to strengthen the apostles, the command to shepherd Christ's flock. These are not isolated events. They form one continuous picture. Peter received a unique responsibility among the apostles. But another question remains. Did that responsibility end when Peter died? The New Testament gives us an important clue. When Judas died, the apostles did not say, "His ministry has ended forever." Instead, they chose Matthias to take his office. The mission continued because the office continued. From the earliest centuries, Christians understood that the apostles appointed successors to continue their ministry. History records that Peter ended his earthly life in Rome. After his death, another bishop succeeded him, then another and another for nearly 2,000 years. That succession has continued. Catholics call that office the Papacy, not because Catholics invented a new role, but because they believe Peter's mission did not disappear. It continued, just as Christ intended his church to continue until the end of the age. Does this answer every question about the Papacy? Not yet. There is still much to explore. How did the early Christians understand Peter's role? What did the earliest bishops write? Did Christians in the first centuries recognize the authority of the church in Rome? That is the journey we'll continue in the next episode, because history has a story to tell. And sometimes, the oldest voices are the ones we've forgotten to hear. The search for truth never ends because truth has a name, Jesus Christ.